Hello again, this is Madan. In this demo, we are going to fix some of the issues that we are having with our watch list feature. So if I click on the watch list, right at the moment there are no pairs in my watch list, but I'm still getting to see the headers of the table. So we want to hide this if there are no watch list, if there are no pairs in our watch list. So let's head over to our view that contains the watch list. So that is the index view of the watch list controller. So here we can put the extra condition here. So if at the rate model, our model here represents the list of the watch list, and we can use the count property on the model. And if a model.count is greater than 0, that means if there are items in our watch list collection, then we want to show this table. Otherwise we want to give the user the message saying that you have no items in your watch list. So you have no pairs in your watch list. Let's save this and let's refresh the project. And now here we have successfully got the message that you have no pairs in our watch list. But when we add the pet to our watch list, then we should see the watch list, the table containing the watch list. So I'm going to add this pet to my watch list. Now we have successfully added the pet to the watch list, and our message has gone and we get to see our table. Now there is another issue. When I click on home again, click on the pet, and there is again we see the button to add the watch list to our pet, but this pet has been already added to our watch list. So if I again click on this button, then our pet gets added to our watch list more than one time. So we want to avoid this. So let's click on remove and let's add that feature. So to add that feature, first we need to write down the method in our repository and go to the database and check that if the pet already exists for the given user in the watch list before adding the pet to the watch list. So let's go to our repository, watchlist repository interface, and here I'm going to add the method. Let's say bool check if already exist, and we are going to pass the two parameter here, string user id and integer pet id. So this method checks goes out to the database and checks if the pet for the given user already exists in the watch list table or not. If that exists, it returns true. If the pet doesn't exist in the watch list, then it returns false. So now let's head over to our watchlist repository and implement that method. Implement interface. Now here we need to go to the database, and so return context dot go to the watchlist table and check if any pet exists in the watch list based on our past condition. So w goes to w dot user id dot equals user id, the past user id, and w dot pet id equal to the one that is passed through the argument. So this goes out to the database and it uses the any method from the entity framework, and it returns true if any pet with the past parameter exists there in the database. It returns true, otherwise it returns false. Simply it returns true if pet already exists in the watch list, and it returns false if pet doesn't exist in the watch list. Now we have created the method here. Now we need to bring this method to our view and provide the user appropriate action based on the return value from the database. So let's go over to the details view of the pet controller, and here is our watchlist button. Now we need to bring in that method. So to bring that method from the repository, we need to inject our interface here, repository interface here. So we can do inject I watchlist repository, and let's name this watchlist repository. Now we can use this watchlist repository here. So what I'm gonna do is, if the pet already exists in the watch list, then simply I'm going to disable this button. Otherwise I'm going to enable this button. So I'm going to add the conditional class here. So we are going to use the C# code. So we are going to give @sign, and here we can use watchlist repository, the variable that we defined here, wtchlst watchlist repository. Now we can call the method, and we need to pass the two parameters here. We need to pass the user ID, which we can get by using the user manager. Let's pass the user ID, and we need to pass the ID of the pet, which is in our model. So we can do model.pet model.id. And so if this exists, that means if it returns true, then we wanna disable the button disable. And if it doesn't exist, if the pet doesn't exist in the watch list, then we simply are going to give nothing, non-class here, no class here, empty class. So let's save this, and again I'm going to copy this block of code here. Let's copy this, and I'm going to paste it here as well. Let's paste it, and I'm going to change the text of the button based on the return value from this method. So if pet already exists in the in the watch list, then we are going to give we are going to say pet already exist in watch list. And if the pet doesn't exist already in the watch list, then we are going to display a text in the button, wtch watchlist text. So let's save this, and here we have used injected our iWatchlist repository in our view. Yes. And in order for this to work, we need to bring in the namespace for this repository, and we can bring namespace in the view, in our view imports.cshtml. So let's go there, and let's bring in the namespace for repository. So let's save this, let's head over to our project, and let's refresh. I'm going to click on the home and click on this pet here. Now we got the error here saying that iWatchlist repository, I made a typo here. So let's head over back to the project and let's fix the error. repos repository. Let's refresh and see if that works. We again get the error on number 196. Maybe the typo. Oops, here is the mistake. repository. Let's try our luck. And now the pet, let's click on my watch list. Now I have already got this pet in my watch list, and if I click here and click on this pet, then I get the message pet already exists in the watch list, and this button is disabled. That means I can no longer add this pet to my watch list again. But if I go to my watch list and remove this pet from here and come back to my home view and click on this pet, then I get the button, and I can, with the different text, and at this time I can click on this button and add the pet to my watch list. So this is the end of the demo, and in the following another video series we will continue improving our project. Thanks for watching. Have a good day.